Well, hi there. Welcome back to Cityline. With me, I have somebody who she is so incredibly creative. There is probably not anything that she cannot do, from jumping off cliffs and doing somersaults into a beautiful water to making amazing music. I am talking about Rosemary Ponnekanti. She is the communications coordinator for Point Defiance Zoo and Aquarium and Northwest Trek Wildlife Park. Welcome back, Rosemary.
Thanks, Amanda. It's good to be here.
It is always great to have you on the show. So, our time, we only have 13 minutes. And as I said, I could talk to you forever. So I want to ask you, in light of what Governor Inslee's recent restrictions are as of just this last Sunday, how does this affect zoo and trek, and especially during this holiday time of the year?
Yeah, thanks for asking, Amanda. So the big deal is that Zoo and Northwest Trek are both open with outdoor experiences that are safe. So the indoor parts of them, following Governor Inslee's guidelines, the indoor parts and experiences are closed temporarily, but all the outdoor stuff is still open, and you can still come and see animals safely with your family. So specifically, like at the zoo, our aquariums are both closed, and the children's playground is temporarily closed. Other indoor habitats are closed, but all the outdoor habitats are open, and the cafe is open for to-go food and stuff like that. At Northwest Trek, we've halted our tram tours, which we had just begun. But instead, and here's the deal of the century, you can do the wild drive. Everybody's talking about this, where you can drive your own car around the free roaming area, right? See the moose and the bison and stuff. And that includes free admission to all the open air walking paths with all the bears and cougar and stuff. So yeah, Trek and Zoo are both open for outdoor experiences.
Oh, I love that. And knowing you, when I ask about hours of operations, you have it right on the tip of your tongue. So, what are the hours of operations for Zoo and Trek, so we can make sure that we are participating?
Yeah, the zoo is open 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thursday to Mondays. So a long weekend. And Northwest Trek is open 9:30 to 3 p.m. Fridays to Mondays. We're closed on Thanksgiving, but we're open the days after that.
So no holiday is complete. And years ago, I used to have, when we were back in the studio, it seems like it was a million years ago, I used to have the amazing technician who would be in charge of putting the lights up for Zoolights. And it was one of my favorite segments of the holidays. So let's talk about Zoolights. Zoolights to me is like decorating my tree. They go together. So what is the update on Zoolights?
Zoolights is a go. It is happening. It is happening this year, and those amazing technicians and our operations guys have been out there for weeks already putting it all up. But there are a couple of big changes that make it not only safe and healthy for everybody, but also possible under the current guidelines. So the first thing to know is that it runs 5 to 9 p.m. every night starting November 27th. That's the day after Thanksgiving, all the way through to January 3rd. It's closed on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. They're the only days it's closed. And the big change is that you need a timed online ticket to get in. Yeah, so no more lines at the gates. Just like when you come to the zoo during the day, you need to buy a ticket online in advance and get your time slot. And that is great because that spreads everybody out and makes it all safe, and so that you can just stick with your own family. Everybody does need a face covering. Please, everybody, wear your masks. The tickets are on sale now. And the other really cool thing about Zoolights is, because we can't open up our goat feeding area to everybody all together because that's not really safe, we have got this great new experience called Groovy Goats Holiday Edition. And you can book your own little family in just before Zoolights starts, like at 4:30. And the goats, oh my gosh, they're so cute. They've got all these little holiday coats and jingle bells, and they eat peppermint treats, and it's adorable. So you can go and feed the goats safely with your own family if you book a Groovy Goats.
Oh, I'm in. My hands are itching like to feed the goats right now because I'm just wanting such contact with animals right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say it while you're there, buy a membership. What a beautiful gift, because we will not be in COVID forever. And there will come a day in the near future, I'm just projecting sunshine in summertime, when I can get back into that aquarium and see all the beauty that there is. So while you're there, check off some gift giving on your gift giving list.
Yeah, if you go to our website, lots of great shopping ideas for holiday gifts.
So I know that, Rosemary, educating people about the environment is very important to you. It has been. I've known you since your children were knee high to a grasshopper, and you have always been all about that. I have the honor of being one of your Instagram friends, and you are always in nature with your arms up, just loving it. As a matter of fact, last time you were on Cityline, we were talking about Tacoma Ocean Fest, an event that you founded, just Rosemary Ponnekanti founded. How did that event go?
Yeah, thanks for asking. It was absolutely great. And yeah, to the folks out there, I wear a lot of different hats, and the zoo hat's one of them, and Ocean Fest hat is another. And it was all online this year because of COVID. And it's all still online. That's the good thing about going online. The festival is all just right there at tacomaoceanfest.org. All the music and dance and art and science talks and eco booths and everything like that. So that's the good part about going online. I mean, we missed everybody, but I actually heard some people tell me that they actually liked that experience a little more than the festival because they could take their time. And obviously the acoustics are great, and you don't have to get into the seaport and all that stuff. So it had its upsides as well. I'm looking forward to the day when we can all get back together, but Ocean Fest is still up there, and we've got something kind of coming, a little surprise in January. I'll let everybody know about that too.
Promise me that you'll come back on Cityline and talk about that surprise.
I will.
Okay, you have your invitation, and we all heard it. You said yes. Rosemary, if people do not know, when I started out our time together, I said, you are so creative. You are a very, and I mean very talented musician. You've combined your love and your passion of animals at both the zoo and the trek. And explain to us, if people don't know, what has inspired you to play music for animals at your work?
So yeah, this was an idea I had a couple of months ago, but I've always been interested in how arts and science intersect. You know, they have a lot to say to each other and enhance each other in terms of empathy and understanding and stuff. And I've also been always fascinated by how animals communicate, especially, you know, vocally, audio, you know, with noises, you know, whales and birds and, you know, that kind of thing. And how human music can maybe straddle that boundary, or at least change our brain pattern so that we can think of communication in a different way. So I had the idea to play double bass to some of the animals at the zoo and Northwest Trek. And partly I've played outdoor music before, like I loop my double bass and I build up layers of harmonies and I improvise over it. And sometimes playing yoga classes outside, if I've gotten up to a certain frequency, a certain pitch, the birds will chime in, right? And we'll start kind of back and forthing. And my dogs love it. So I thought, okay, so I asked at the zoo and Northwest Trek, and it turns out that music is actually an enrichment item for a lot of animals because it just enhances their mental life and their audio soundscape. So I was thrilled to hear that. So I went and played. First, I played bass to the gray wolves at Northwest Trek. And then a few weeks later, I played to the walruses at Point of Mine Zoo.
Oh, I'm taking a deep breath because it's so emotional for me, because music, sound, vibration is healing. I mean, when you do sound immersion therapy and the beautiful gongs and the bowls go off, that resonates on a cellular level and it tells your body to heal what needs to be healed. And we know that as humans because we speak the same language. But for you to understand, Rosemary, that these animals, it's a gift you gave them. And this was your original music composed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So I do improvise it. I figure out the loops in advance because once you get a loop circulating and you put several layers on top of that, you really have to, it's like a composition. You have to figure it out to know what's going to work. So I have those basically laid out in my mind already. And then, yes, then I improvise the music over the top. And these particular tunes that I played, I had made them up for those particular animals. So for the wolves at Trek, I was really inspired by wolf howls, gray wolf howls and red wolves as well. They're at a bit of a higher pitch than a bass can normally play, but you can get up there and just translating that into music because they're usually a little dissonant, and maybe that's what makes us afraid of wolves subconsciously, is kind of hearing those eerie, what to us is Western music is dissonant pitch. So I made up a little kind of almost like a country waltz that would kind of fit with those howls and straddle those two worlds of human and wolf. The wolves didn't howl. I wanted them to howl back so badly. The keepers told me, usually they wait till everybody's gone and then they start howling. But they were so interested when I played. This was very early in the morning. They came right up to the edge of the habitat. They looked at me. The ears were forward, like dogs who are really interested in something. And they're looking at me, sniffing. But eventually one of them just lay down and went to sleep.
Oh.
And that was right. That my dogs do that when I play. I like to think it's because I'm lulling them to sleep, not because they're bored. And the walruses, I also made up a waltz for them, but based off of they're so graceful in the water. Walruses, they look big and clunky, kind of like a double bass looks big and clunky, but they're so graceful, and it's like a ballet how they can move around. And so I composed this piece that sort of reflected that. And the interesting thing at the zoo is that they really responded, the walruses. Well, first of all, they came up to watch me because they're interested in people watching at the window. But then when I started to play and they could definitely hear those sounds, they started making their sounds back. And walruses have a huge repertoire of sound, bubbles and squeaks and whistles and noises that sound a bit like farting noises and, percussive sounds and stuff. So I don't know whether we were actually saying anything to each other, but we were definitely interacting, that's for sure.
Oh, and Rosemary, can we still see this online? Is there a way up? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, the videos are up. I wrote a blog story about each of them. The videos are also on our YouTubes at Northwest Trek and Point Defiance and Aquarium.
Oh, I love that. Are there any other concerts for the animals that scheduled for the future?
No concerts for the animals. I would love to do that. We're kind of busy with Zoolights right now, and it's winter. But I actually have a concert with whale sounds coming up. In the context of Ocean Fest, I've been doing whale yoga, which I team up with a yoga instructor, and I play the bass along with some recorded whale sounds, and I play back and forward with the whale sounds. And then there's a yoga class going on at the same time. So we're live streaming that this Saturday at 4:30 on the library's Facebook page, and it's in Spanish this week.
Oh, what a beautiful marriage. What a synergy. Rosemary, your parents did a great job on you. I want to know that.
Thanks.
Rosemary, who do we need to thank? Because nobody does it alone. You are a creative force to be reckoned with, but you have people who have come alongside you and said, yes, I want to take the journey. So who are they?
Well, first of all, for those fantastic videos that I hope you'll go and watch, I really want to thank my colleague, Katie Cotterill. She's a fantastic videographer and photographer, and she works at the zoo in Northwest Trek as I do in the marketing team. So thank you, Katie. You're amazing. Big thanks to, too many to say, all of the keepers, curators, veterinary staff, all the other amazing folks at Northwest Trek and the zoo that care for our animals, because they're the reason that we're all here, and they do an amazing job. So yeah, thanks to everybody at the zoo and Trek.
I want to say thank you to you and to your amazing team. And I also want to say happy holidays to you. And Rosemary, please keep you and that precious family of yours safe. And I want to see you this way in January when you have that special announcement to make, okay?
Will do. Thanks, Amanda, and you have a happy holiday as well.
I will. Thank you so much. We have much more to come on Cityline, so don't go away. We'll be right back.